And now, your official TigerBait live show with Mike Scarborough and Buddy Songy starts now.
All right, everybody, welcome in. As you can see, new digs, and we got a big show tonight. A lot of transfer portal activity, men and women at LSU. LSU baseball team goes to Norman, Oklahoma. What is it, the first time, buddy? First time ever to play baseball in Norman?
Yeah.
And LSU women season comes to an end at the hands of UCLA on Sunday. And where does Coach Mulkey and her staff go from here? They got a lot of work to do in the portal, just like Coach McMahon. LSU football will get cranked up again and next week, and that and a lot more. We're gonna take all your questions and comments, get them loaded up, and as always, please hit the like button if you enjoy the show, and please share the show linked on your Facebook page. Text it out to your fellow LSU fans. You know the drill. Thank you. Buddy, welcome in.
Good to see you. New digs here. Of course, Mike and his partner doing a great job of getting us set up here in the new place. And as always, hope everybody doing well on a Wednesday evening, afternoon. You know, Mike, I was talking to you about this before the show. A lot of people are out and doing things. We eat late because of the time change. And so remind everybody we're doing 6 o'clock. It works out better for all of us. And, of course, you can watch the show at any time and your preference. Yeah, a decent weekend, although, you know, you hate to see him not get it done against UCLA. We'll talk a little bit about that. Softball had some rainouts. They didn't play, so they ended up having a doubleheader and got swept by
South Carolina.
Yeah, South Carolina. So coming in here, and Beth Tarina, they did win last night against McNeese. LSU won last night against, of course, Louisiana Tech, and at Oklahoma, really, really good righty on the mound. 6:30, and 2 for your games. ESPN 2 tomorrow night, SEC Network Plus Friday and Saturday. And I think that last week, having that Thursday, Friday, Saturday, it gets Jay in line with his pitching rotation. We're expecting Kate Anderson, Anthony Eisen, and Chase Shores again. In case you missed it, Gavin Guidry, possibly for next week against Auburn. That is 50-50, but out once again this weekend against OU.
Absolutely. All right, everybody, let's dive in. All right. Chance Babin, do you think Kim was okay with Poe and Samaya leaving? Smith was shocking to me. Look, I don't want to say that she was glad anybody left. I don't know what I was thinking. I didn't know that Poe had an option. I mean, I watched her, go out there for senior day. I wasn't counting on her being a part of next year's team. But evidently, everybody who applies and fights for another year ends up getting it. So we'll see how that plays out. Samaya Smith, that is a shocker. Here, maybe the dad's a big part of this activity behind the scenes and wanting some more money for her. Frankly, Samaya was really LSU's only real factor down low outside of Anissa Morrow. Del Rosario just has not materialized, and Jersey Wolfenberger is playing out of position. So we're going to see how that where they go from here. They've got to get 3 or 4 really good ones in the portal. I thought it was 3 or 4 before Samaya left. So is it maybe could it go up to 5? I don't know.
Well, we mentioned it, and listen, if you want to be honest, the haul that they brought in for this year's team just wasn't good enough. Not to bemoan or criticize anybody, but Jersey didn't develop. Miracle Shepherd had moments. KG, everybody knows KG's gig. And then, of course, as we know, Cheyenne Day Wilson, who played her final year. The reason Poa got another year is because the Vanderbilt quarterback, who LSU fans will see in Nashville, Diego, got another year. As we know, Tiger Shark, Kenny will tell you, NCAA is over in the courtroom, and so he proposed and said, "Look, I want another year and forget that JC year." And so that's what happened.
I mean, look what's going to happen with John Emery. Was the Miami defensive end or whatever last year? He had was on his 7th year. I mean,
yeah.
Where does this end?
Yeah. And look, the thing about Samaya Smith is that this is, and I think we all saw this with the frustration with Coach Mulkey after the loss. She said it. Look, people are going to be coming and going. And Samaya Smith, I don't know what her value and market value is right now. I do know that she is soft-spoken and probably didn't get the NIL deals that Anissa and Flaugier and Michaela got. That could have something to do with it. But if there's a mom or dad out there and they want to try to get money for their daughter or son, I don't think anybody blames them. But it does make it problematic because you never know once you get somebody here how long they're going to stay. That being said, I think that I'll say it right now. You're going to see a lot of new faces. I checked out a little bit of the McDonald's All-Star game last night. 2 good players coming in, 4 or 5 stars. And obviously a lot of activity in the portal. You've already had a couple of notes on ladies coming in this weekend, so they need some bigs. And look, Jersey and Aaliyah Del Rosario were not consistent enough. Anissa Morrow's gone, Samaya Smith's gone. Now you're going to see a bunch of different post players and bigs coming in.
Look, I think a lot of times, and look, the fans will say it. I think a lot of people will soft pedal the way they discuss women's basketball players because they feel like you shouldn't discuss them the same way we do football players, right? But I said on Buddy's show earlier today, I'm looking at, whether you want to believe it or not, just like when LSU fans will get mad when you talk about Alabama and how they look, and they had the #1 recruiting class, and everybody thought their recruiting classes were overrated, but they kept winning national championships. It always proved out, didn't it? And you had your fill of Nick Saban while he was here. You saw what he built, and what was he doing? He had his measurables that he had for every position. And so when I'm looking at South Carolina's roster the last 2 years, and no offense to Cheyenne Day Wilson or Miracle Shepherd or KG, I don't see Dawn Staley recruiting any of those players once she looks at their measurables. There's just the difference physically, the length. When I see KG going after a loose ball, she has no chance at getting them unless it falls right in her breadbasket, just because she's not long enough. And so Miracle Shepherd didn't see her much at all the last several games, and I'm starting to agree a lot with a lot of the folks that chime in on Emily and I's Inside LSU Women's Basketball show that there should have been more Jada Richard.
Absolutely. Jada Richard scored 6 points against Florida State in the second quarter, gave them a lift. Kim Mulkey gave her props after the game. She played less than a minute against NC State and played less than a minute against UCLA. Everybody who followed that team out there, this is another pet peeve. Carolina gets Birmingham. Now, look, Carolina wanted to be the #1 overall seed. It was UCLA, so Carolina was the #2 overall seed. But their fan base got a much easier trip to Birmingham and were a factor when they were playing like crap against Duke. They were playing really bad. Their fans got involved. LSU had about 125 fans at of course, Spokane. And so bottom line is that it's a very fluid situation. I think the other thing that we've got to interject in the conversation about bringing people in is that they've got to be a fit. And I think you get the recipe of what this team was all made of, and you put it all in a gumbo pot. But I'm seeing Michaela Williams, give me the ball, I'm open for a 3. And KG did throw her the ball, and she shot it, and then she got the rebound and shot it again, and then again. That's where Coach Mulkey should have said, out and go sit on the bench. There was not great chemistry other than the 3 bigs.
But you're in really big trouble when 2/3 of a game Michaela's shots aren't falling.
But
nobody's shots were falling. That's when you should see Jada Richard.
But Michaela got hot right at the end of the
and that's how they
game.
won.
Flaugier had problems until the end of this game. So my point is that this is one of the things going to be interesting with football. Is it a fit? Do they get into the culture of LSU football? And all things that we're hearing is that it is. Nussmeier and all those leaders are all getting together. They're hanging out. But look, don't worry. Don't ever count Kim Mulkey out. She will have a hell of a roster. And I think the real key, though.
Oh, no, I'm never counting her out. And I'll tell you this much. I'm not going to say the powers that be at the NCAA or those on the committee rue the day that, or like the folks in Omaha and they're sick to their stomachs when LSU doesn't make it to Omaha. But the Final Four is a much better and more viewable thing when Kim Mulkey's team's in it.
But it's ridiculous.
And I'm not just saying it because I'm sitting here in Baton Rouge.
But it's ridiculous to have 2 regionals with 8 teams. The men have 4 regionals with 4 teams. Gino, Kim, everybody else, and their brother.
Because when she said that, I agree with everything Gino said. So I'm like, I had to go back and pull him up and see what he said. And I'm like,
he keeps going down west. He
nailed it. I mean,
they have to go all the way from the East Coast to the West Coast.
And I like how he said, I know who these people are, and they ruin the game. And I know who they are. That's what you call people out. I like that.
But anyway, excellent season. Elite 8 is about what we thought. I know you wanted them to get past the hump with UCLA, and let's give them credit. They did get Betts in foul trouble, but I think we all agree in that second quarter, they just didn't get it done. Yeah. That's where they had the advantage with Betts on the bench and got outscored because they gave up some 3 balls.
Yeah. Anybody but South Carolina, anybody but Texas. Whoever wins the UConn-UCLA game, that's who I hope wins it.
Well, there will automatically be an SEC team in the women's final as well as the men's final, of course. Once again, Friday night, South Carolina and Texas, UCLA and UConn. I like Paige Beckers and UConn to win it. And then, of course, Florida and Auburn, the first game on Saturday, and Duke and Houston, the second game. So we got, 4 more ball games. 2 for the women and 2 left for the men, and then we'll get into baseball. Spring football, in case you missed it, it is going to be an open scrimmage. You're invited to go 10:30 on Saturday, April the 12th. That's a week from this Saturday. We'll get back out to practice next Tuesday and Thursday. And then, of course, as we know, gymnastics will kick back up. And I certainly think that they will be in the Final Four in Fort Worth coming up. So, you hate to see them have that not to get to the Final Four, but in reality, Mike, I think they've got about as far as they could with some of the weaknesses they could never get over.
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit more about it and take your questions. You guys drive the show. We have no agenda tonight. You want to talk majority baseball? We can do that. You want to talk LSU women in the portal? We can do that. But there is a lot of we can discuss. I'm going to get Brad's comment, and then we got to take a commercial break. But Brad DeVee, good evening. What is y'all's biggest concern for the LSU football season? How about we do this? Biggest concern on offense, biggest on defense.
Well, you said it today. And look, you are replacing Will Campbell and Emory Jones at the 2 tackles. You're replacing Garrett Dellinger and Miles Frazier at the 2 guards. And you don't know if DJ Chester is going to fit at center, if they're going to move him inside, if Braylon Moore ends up being the center. So right out of the gate offensively, I think there's no doubt the biggest question
I'm going to tell you this. I don't want to hear
that offensive line.
I don't want to hear any crap about how Joe Sloan's not this or that. I'll tell you who's under the microscope. It's Brad Davis. He's recruited very well. And I'll tell you what else I don't want to hear this upcoming season. I don't want to hear that the running backs have no vision, because that's not going to fly with Caden Durham and whatever touches Harlan Berry gets. That's not going to fly. Then it's going to be what techniques are you teaching? And I've talked to some offensive line coaches that question it.
Well, look, there's more pressure on Brian Kelly than there is Joe Sloan, but
it's buck stops with him.
They've got to be creative with the
now everybody's looking at Jake Olson when you lose the Bradford kid from Catholic.
Yeah, real shocker early, still 8.5 months.
Because that's my position on defense.
Yeah, safety, no doubt. And you still have questions in punting and special teams, although Ahmad Anad coming over from Grambling.
I was a sunshine pumper last week. Now I'm what the hell?
I was going to say, I brought him as a housewarming gift, folks, some Manda hot sausage. I had no idea you were going to eat a pack of it before, but it's good to see you spicy. We have role reversals tonight.
Yeah. All right. Dana Diaz with a super chat. Dana, thank you for that. And if you didn't give us, there he is. She says, thank you, Mike and Buddy, for the hard work you do. Go Tigers. Dana, thank you for that. Thank you so much. All right, let's hear. You see we're in the new studio and I set it up. I got to get this corrected. I might need a mic stand on the floor and get this out of my face. I'm doing like this, trying to see my screen. All right. Where are we at? Let's hear from Mike and Alex. over at Pride Roofing, and there it is.
Hi, I'm Michael with Pride Roofing.
I'm Little Alex.
Have you been affected by wind, hail, and tornadoes on the North Shore? Well, we're here to help.
Insurance claim, no problem.
We also have a new franchise location in New Orleans.
We don't build projects, we build memories.
Though you know Pride Roofing is the official roofer of TigerBait.com.
In fact, notify TigerBait and we'll give you a free roof inspection, and on top of that, you get a free year subscription. Remember to call us at 855-PRIDE-16.
There it is, 855-PRIDE-16. Give them a call for your free roof inspection. And if you say TigerBait, they're going to give you TigerBait Premium free for a year. That's a $99 value, and you cannot beat that. And again, Pride Roofing, new location here in Baton Rouge. Of course, home office is in Hammond, and big on the North Shore, Covington, Mandeville, Madisonville, New Orleans, Houma, Thibodaux. They've got you all covered. Of course, real big in Baton Rouge in the Southeast and the Florida parishes, and that's Pride Roofing. And again, I've known Mike Faraday for many years. Alex Martinez is one of the greatest people ever. Super people to do business with. And if you bring them a bid on another company's letterhead, they will beat it by $150. They want to earn your business. And like I always tell you, they've got $2 million worth of shingles that they keep in their yard at all times. If you need a new roof, you're not going to be waiting around because the local other roofing company doesn't stock anything. They order everything, and then they use everybody else's B and C team for subs. They've got their own people. That's why you need to use Pride Roofing.
Commercial, residential, and don't forget about metal roofs. Very, very hot right now. And once again, with the acquisition of Crown Metals, that has changed the metal roofing business in the state of Louisiana. Good people on time. The roof over your head is just as important as the roof over theirs. Once again, all we ask is you give them an opportunity. They don't flood the TV market every 20, 30 minutes with some silly-ass commercial. They are working hard, big-time community players. 1-855-PRIDE-16. Tell them Mike and Buddy sent you over. And we appreciate everybody who has listened to us and gave them an opportunity. You get a free TigerBait subscription. You get a discount. Folks, it's a no-brainer. Give them a chance. 1-855-PRIDE-16. You will not be disappointed.
You can't smell it, but you can almost taste it. And whether it's for a family get-together or a game day feast, having Manda in the mix always sounds good. For 3 generations, their quality meats and original seasonings have made Manda a Louisiana legend and made their family sausage Louisiana's family sausage. Manda Fine Meats. The flavor says it all.
All right. Flavor does say it all, buddy.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Hey, a couple of other topics that everybody has been talking about is, and we'll get right into it with the recruiting, Blaine Bradford. I remember when Mike and I talked early in the morning, it was like, WTF, where did that come from? His daddy tweeted out that LSU had done a great job.
Or was his mom? It was mom, wasn't it?
And I thought it was dad or mom, whatever. But anyway, Ohio State did a better job. And basically in the tweet said they feel like his future is better for Ohio State. This is an area where LSU's got to get better, whether it's being recruiting. Deshaun Spears has got to start making some plays this year. They've got to get better safety play. This guy is a big-time player, 8.5 months away. You know money's going to be involved. And I think if the money gets right, it's going to be hard to keep him from not coming to LSU. But right now, they are putting some pressure on the fact that the LSU safety coach maybe hadn't put enough guys in the NFL. And so you know how it is. It's going to go back and forth.
Do you want to know what the difference is between had this been 10 years ago and Bradford had committed somewhere, my phone would have been blowing up.
Mm-hmm.
What the hell from everybody in my phone would be going berserk.
Larry for sure.
Yeah, but you know why they didn't on Monday? I got a couple of them. That's it. You know why? Because they know this is NIL and it doesn't. This is.
Well, it's too early.
Nobody believes that commitments mean anything.
Well, I was all fired up about Tristan Keys coming in here. Remember, and you were like, "Well, look, it's a long ways away." It's a long ways away, but I will say this: LSU's got to get better with the development of safeties. the safety play and the recruiting of safeties. We just hope Bradford's here at the end.
And it's really getting to the point, and you guys can disagree with me, and we can debate a little bit, but what would you say your top 5 guys are the guys that get you your most excitement of your high school class? But beyond that, the fan bases get more excited for the NIL transfer portal guys than your 6 through 25 or whatever the high school number ends up being that year.
Well, of course, his brother's coming over here, and we'll see if he
because you're getting proven players.
Yeah, right. Well, I know, and the game has changed, but it's a long ways away, and we will see. Let's give Ohio State credit. They spent $13 million on 9 players, and look, Mike, I don't have any information of this to be true, but I guarantee you the kids already got money on some of these visits. That's what's going on right now.
Let me tell you something. If this isn't an NIL deal, and I know Lamar Brown made a tweet, said, why does everybody think if a player goes somewhere else, it's only because of money? And, Lamar's flirted around with Texas A&M a lot.
But so did Moses last year.
You got to watch going down that road because the fans get nasty on Twitter, and that can turn off other kids.
Yeah,
that can turn off your chances of getting that kid.
Sure.
You can recall Jamar chasing his recruitment. The best thing you had to do was just sit back. His dad told the LSU coaches over and over, don't push, don't be pushy, just stay the course, and he'll come around.
Unless we're not coming to play defensive back.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, we'll see how it plays out. But
the brother's here and is going to play this year, and we'll see how the season goes. But it's not over, is what we're trying to say.
So if it is indeed 100% that it's not money, and Brian Kelly sees that from a parent saying they out recruited LSU, aren't you flying down the hallway and been in the ear of that coach? Or
Absolutely.
Them, or those coaches?
And Catholic High is a feeder school to LSU. So let's just sit back and wait.
Especially after you just took his brother.
Yeah, that's what I said. It'll be a big loss, but we got all the way till mid-December. Oh, by the way, in case you didn't hear the tidbit, how about Clemson? Can you believe this? They were only one of 3 Power 4 teams that didn't have alcohol. If you're going to Clemson, you're going to be able to drink a brewski, but you know how this works, fans. Whether you go to Atlanta, Dallas, Houston, out west, Seattle, wherever, they don't understand the impact of the way Louisianans live life. So if you're going to Clemson, bring your own booze. We're already having bets. They will be out of booze the night of August 30th by halftime. So if you're going to get a beer in the first quarter, get a couple and have your ice chest because but that's going to be interesting. Death Valley this year and next year. I can't wait to see how that unfolds. But Clemson is actually having booze for the first time at an event this Saturday with their spring game. And as we know, they're going to make a lot of money on the Tiger fans.
Dame Bergeron says Mike Mulkey beat Dawn's ass when she was at Baylor. Kim Mulkey needs to get the type of shit. And here's the other part of it. What Kim has said, Kim's told you everything. She's not just coach speak. It's the absolute truth. She was lucky that Nikki had some really good players there, and then she filled in with transfer portal. And so they had a super exciting first year, got to host, lost in the second round of Ohio State. Next year, win a national championship. And she said, y'all are spoiled. It's not supposed to happen this early. And I remember the following year, third year, I'm saying, man, in pregame warmups, just looking at South Carolina, how big they were. Like every player was, if you, like I was talking about earlier in the show, if you gave what your measurables were, what you wanted at each position, they had them. And it was it was depth all across the bench. Well, how do you get to that point? Well, it's because this program here at LSU is new. It's essentially brand new. That takes time. You can fill in the gaps, but this high school haul that she's got coming, and you mentioned that all-star game. You've seen some of the highlights of that. They've got a really good group in. But my concern with that is, is Kim going to really play that many freshmen?
Well, no, that's probably the reason that Jada Richard didn't play. And, oh, by the way.
So, but you need these 3 girls to play.
Yeah, you're coming in. I'm just going to say, look, major faux pas Sunday with KG playing 25 minutes. She was 0 for 7. She scored 1 point, was not a factor, does not have a propensity to look for her teammates to pass. I think somebody on the bench should have said, get her out, especially after the 3 straight shots. But it's always easier after the
Flaugier will be your senior. Michaela will be a junior. And
Flaugier still got a decision to make, but all signs are hopefully pointing. I think I heard something. Mama wants her to come back, and
I imagine Angel Reese is telling her, whatever you do, you stay at LSU because the money's so much better. I mean, what do you think she's getting in trouble with in the media for? I mean, she's laying it all out for you. Her condo in Chicago's is more than what she makes with the Sky, right?
Yeah. Well, no, I was just saying that Flaugier still has some things that she can improve.
And by the way, that's what we assumed, but now we know concretely. Those girls are. I assure you, Angel Reese, whatever you do. If I had another year, I would have come back. I would have stayed. I wouldn't be surprised if she would admit that now.
Flaugier's net worth right now, supposedly in the $7.5 million. She stays another year at LSU. You're talking about $10 million plus. And of course, Mike, she could be, this could be her team next year. I know one of the recruits last night interviewed, said that's the reason she's coming to LSU for Flaugier.
Dame Bergeron. I'm going to call Coach Moke and tell her Mike is counting her out and let her. I'm not counting her out at all. I think she got the most out of what she had. Now they'll debate me, and I'll say that going over, except for Jada in the high school hall last year, hurt. Mm-hmm. And that's why I asked, I've asked them, is it an every other year proposition where maybe you have a bigger transfer portal hall one year and the next year you have a bigger high school or a more substantial, what's the balance going to be over the long haul? I don't know.
By the way, men have got some good news. They have already brought in 3 transfer portal. The kid from UNLV is an excellent point guard, lefty, can shoot it, can drive. Got a big 6'10" from Mississippi State, and then a 6'6" shooting guard from Northeastern. So they right now are doing great things, and still Matt McMahon needs another 3 or 4 players.
Todd Davis, Rashad King signed, 6'6" shooting guard, 3rd transfer so far. I saw someone, they didn't cite the source, but I'm assuming somebody's out there is rating LSU's transfer portal class number 1 right now. I think that's a little early.
Yeah, a little early.
I have a poll on the front page of TigerBait. Of course, that was before the transfer portal kicked into gear a few days ago. And the question was, will Matt McMahon lead LSU to the NCAA tournament in 2026? 75% have answered no. Told that LSU's NIL budget will put them somewhere around 8th in the league, so middle of the pack. And so if that middle of the pack NIL equates to middle of the pack finish, then you're going to be in the NCAA tournament. And the SEC has justified it this year in both men's and women's, right?
I cannot predict that. I want to see what happens. Look, in basketball more so than football.
Well, if he keeps getting if he's doing what he's doing, and they end up finishing out, and whether it's number 1 or number 4 or 5, I think it'll be a more reason for people to tune in next year and say, hey, he might have something.
But do you have the chemistry? Do you have the leadership? Do you share the basketball? Do you play? That's the biggest thing that frustrated me about the women. After 29 assists and only 11 turnovers, I've never seen them share the basketball so well. And yet, if you put the tape in at UCLA, they played like individuals, started once again, jacking up threes.
And that's why Kim called so many times. Kim don't like calling timeouts. That was always the rub at Baylor. I would talk to the Baylor guys, but when they hired her, she hates using timeouts. She don't use them. And for her to use timeouts like she did the other day, she wasn't happy.
But to win 29 assists and 11 turnovers this game, 10 assists and 15 turnovers. So you still have to share the basketball. And look, you're spoiled with what Coach Mulkey has done, but it's good to see 4 or 5 stars coming in. I hope Jada Richard stays, by the way.
The fact that we're going this deep into LSU women's basketball and recruiting and everything just shows you how much Kim has grown this thing. And the expectations, which I think on one hand, she likes the high expectations, but she also wants to be able to tell you y'all are spoiled.
Well, it's getting tougher. We saw it with Nick Saban. It's getting tougher. Kim Mulkey and Nick Saban are very much a parallel. They have multiple championships, Saban with 7, Kim with 4, but they like to be able to control things. They like to shape the clay and bring in players and have a fit. And now with this crazy transfer portal NIL, you've got agents, you've got mamas and daddies, you've got a lot of other people involved.
I don't know that it really showed this season, but I tend to think there might have been as much drama on this year's team than there was last year with Angel Reese
and last year's baseball team. Everybody's starting to hear now about all of the skeletons Jay Johnson had to deal with last year. In case you don't know it, 28 new players, and can we please throw some strikes this weekend? I'm not going to beat up the umpiring.
But what does that show you, though, with the drama, what she can do, even with that?
Yeah.
I mean, is there a coach, and that's always going to be there, especially now with these players being in the spotlight and the big money deals. I imagine the drama that she's dealing with now compared to 20 years ago is off the chain. But who's better equipped to deal with it than her?
Agreed.
All right, let's get into some more comments here.
Shout out to Carl the Cat. He is, I think, starting his 28th season in high school officials. He ascended to his highest ranking ever at 22, and we're hoping he gets top 20 this year.
Mike, who would you put money on, Beth or Jay, to win a natty this year? Oh, that's easy. That's Jay. That's Jay.
Beth winning a natty? I'd be happy with OKC.
Yeah.
Jay, I think, has got to get some pitchers, especially in his bullpen, to throw strikes. And, not that we're bitching tonight, but Nate Yeske, the pitching coach, he is not as critical. People don't criticize him as much as Joe Sloan or Blake Baker, but he's similar in a role. And he has a penchant of throwing freaking fastballs. Now, if he mixes it up a little bit, it's okay. But look, you got to develop William Schmidt and some of these other guys. So throwing strikes, better performance from the bullpen. Mike, they're leading the conference third in the country with batting average. Jared Jones is starting to hit the long ball. He's at 11. DC, Derek Curiel, doesn't look like a freshman. They are loaded on offense. So once again, I think pitching right now, we'll start to this stretch at Oklahoma, at Auburn. Then you've got 3 heavyweights coming into Baton Rouge in the next 4 or 5 weeks after that. Alabama, who's good this year, Arkansas, and Tennessee. So we're going to find out about this LSU baseball team in the next 5 series.
All right, Dykes Electrical, the official electrical company of TigerBait.com. No matter how big or small your electrical needs may be, Dykes is wired for success. You need a brand new 10-story office building, they can wire that. A 200,000 square foot warehouse you need built, they can wire that. Expanding your existing commercial building, they can wire that. Or just changing out a breaker, a whole electrical panel, or just a receptacle, or upgrading the whole home lighting, old lighting in your home or office, they can wire that. Give them a call today at the number on your screen, 225-216-9180 for a free estimate on your project. And please let them know TigerBait sent you in. Big LSU fans over at Dykes Electrical, and absolutely fantastic people. And big LSU fans, Baton Rouge, locally owned and operated. And boy, some of the projects they've done around town are out of this world. All right, Stroubes, we talk about them each and every week. And all our live shows are proudly brought to you by Stroubes Seafood and Steaks. They're located at 107 3rd Street, downtown Baton Rouge. Stroubes prides itself on providing a 5-star dining experience for a reasonable price, locally owned with ownership right there in the building. And they take a high level of pride in the food and service you're just not going to get from the national chains. They offer a full menu of specialty meats, prime black Angus steaks, 100% certified Wagyu New York strip, a full seafood slate. They got the redfish, the lobster pasta, much more. And the dessert menu is off the chain, all made in-house. And so book your reservation online tonight at Stroubes.com. And again, tell them TigerBait sent you in. You get to the hostess stand, please tell them TigerBait sent you in.
Of course, great place for Friday night with the seafood and all of the Lenten specials. They will take care of you. Call the hostess before. She'll tell you about the parking and make it easy for you to get in and out of there. It's worth the trip.
All right. Let's dive in. Hakeem Batiste, I think a change in our offensive philosophy will help as well. We can't be to paint to paint dominant. Got to get perimeter oriented and shoot more threes to open the paint up for whoever that dominant player is.
What's the women talking about or the men?
That could be both, couldn't it?
Yeah.
I'm assuming women.
Look, UCLA had 2 bench players come off the bench, shoot 4 for 5 for 3, and the other one shot 5 for 8. LSU made 3 for 15. Got to have more 3-ball shooters. I think they've addressed that. Bella Hines can shoot the 3. All of these girls can step out and shoot the 3. LSU men is going to be interesting, but we go back to the similarities. Got to make sure you cut down on the turnovers and feed that guy or woman who's hot. And look, Kim's got to get some more shooters. That you make 3-point shots in an elite 8 game. It's just not good enough normally.
Yeah. Kat Rubel, do we know who is coming to Baton Rouge this weekend to meet with Mulkey? I'm supposed to have something on that this evening or tomorrow morning.
Thought there was a big from Ohio State that's coming in, and
but I don't know that that's it.
I know, but there's another one.
There could be some more.
Yeah. So don't you worry. They're going to be very active. She said that in the press conference afterwards.
Yeah. They've done a fantastic job getting what they need in order to go out and get what they need. Chicago Cheetah. I think Kim needs to look back at what she did at Baylor because she was beating all of those teams.
But that's changed, Mike. You didn't have NIL and transfer.
On one hand, it helped her win a national championship in year 2, but on the other time, it takes time to develop consistency. But how consistent can you get when you think players are coming back like Samaya, and then you get blindsided? It's hard.
Hey, listen, if you want to play here, you play here and you get the perks. I don't think there's one female athlete at LSU that doesn't think that you can reach for the moon at LSU. We talk about Livy Dunn. We talk about Flauget. We talk about Angel Reese. We talk about this is a great place because that's what it's all about now. That's what these college kids, men and women, want. They want to grow their brand. So you get a chance to play on a big stage. You get a chance to play in unbelievable arenas, football stadiums in the box. It's all there. You got to put some of the potential and problems on, but you get a chance. But Samaya, she came off. That's what hurt so much about Samaya. It took her almost, 3/4 of the year to show she had gotten over the injury, and yet she's ready to go. But if she doesn't want to play here, you bring somebody else in.
Yeah, I agree.
Same thing with football, baseball, all of that. You can't worry about the ones that aren't here. You just got to worry about the ones that are here.
Yeah, I'll tell you this: if she ever had a roster that didn't belong in the NCAA tournament, they'd be in the NCAA tournament. If she's got a roster that's maybe a first or second round team, she's going to get them to the Elite 8. That's why she's a Hall of Famer.
And look, not a homer comment, but there was a disparity on the foul shots, and the lady with the short haircut, definitely her and Kim Mulkey, they've been going after each other, but they shot 28 free throws and LSU shot 12. A lot of that, Mike, was because LSU didn't work the ball and didn't get fouls. They did get Lauren Betts on the bench, but look, great year, Elite 8. You and I talked about this. That is about what we thought was going to be the apex this year. You want to think that they can get to the Final Four, but really they had some weaknesses they never were able to overcome. And that was primarily the point guard spot.
Well, I never would have guessed that the big three would have not all been on.
No. And
then struggle the way they did. And the reason why I was saying, man, I wonder if this team can do it. And I think they could have had the three, had their typical 3 game, and then you had one other one that did something. With Samaya coming on the way she was, I thought she might be the catalyst. And then the way Miracle Shepherds played defense, I thought they might be able to shock some people. But Elite 8 was probably the ceiling. Hakeem Batiste, Jada needs the keys to the truck next season. Hope coach doesn't recruit over her because I'm afraid she'll hit the portal next year. She's too talented to balloon with a lesser talent than her. Yeah, my worry has been that she might be the one that shocks you again. She could be somebody that shocks you because she's irritated that she didn't play enough.
Who's that, Jada?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know you do.
And by the way, the LCA people are very proud. That school pumps out a lot of athletes, okay? And, you know, I'm not saying anything with Sage Ryan bleeds over to Jada Richard and all this stuff, but, you know, don't think for a minute that when she goes home to Lafayette that everybody's saying you should have been playing more. It works
you
like
get it every time you do a show with Emily Ward. But here's the problem. Kim Mulkey was a storied and incredible point guard all of her life since she was this little bitty. And she just doesn't trust a lot of freshmen with the ball in her hands. But I don't think that Jada got a fair shake when she scored 6 freaking points when LSU was struggling in the second quarter in the second game of the tournament. And she doesn't get a cup of coffee either of the last 2 games.
And you know who her boyfriend is? Juwan Johnson.
Juwan Johnson.
So, you know, he's another one that I'm like, man, should he be at wide receiver? Is this quarterback thing going to take? You know, is he wasting another year? You know, what kind of is he getting the same thing when he goes home?
Well, they tried him at DB and they tried him at running back, and now we will see.
Yeah, I mean, what do you call that? A jack of all trades, a master of none.
Yeah.
Which one is he going to master? You're going into year 2. He needs to find a place. To me, I thought it was going to be wide receivers. Dane Bergeron says, Stroubes is the bomb, get the bone-in ribeye. Exactly. Cowboy ribeye is what they call it, and that's what was on the screen, and I'm ready for another one, especially after moving all week. I could tear one up. Bonnie Brunson, Rosario was tall enough but not athletic. Yeah, I mean, she's had some setbacks with injuries. We'll see what she ends up doing. You know, you can sit there and say, oh, she's going to hit the portal or this or that, but it could very well be, well, Del Rosario loves Baton Rouge and wants to get her degree here. You just don't know how that's going to play out.
Well, look, she got heavy after the injury, and she took off some weight, and then she put the weight back on, and she plays stiff.
Last May, she had gotten to where she was a rail.
Yeah. But she plays stiff, and she's going to have to get more fluid in the pace of the game. And she did draw the second foul on Lauren Betts, but I think the big thing that she needs more than anything is confidence. And you get your body right. And look, everybody knows that you know, she's got a chance to do something if she's right. And look, it's not easy. People forget that there's a lot of pressure. You know, you're playing with Kim Mulkey. You know that team won a natty. You come in here and you screw up, you feel bad. And so we'll see. But definitely with Jersey and Del Rosario, they just did not provide. If you could have gotten 8 to 10 minutes from them at the end, that would have because Anissa Morrow, let's give her a shout out, folks.
Man.
I asked Mike today the question. Both ladies played 2 years, Angel Reese and Anissa Morrow. They did play together 1 year, but man, it's hard to ascertain who is the better player at LSU, Angel Reese or Anissa Morrow. Anissa Morrow shoots it better from the outside, but Angel Reese brings a lot of toughness, rebound, and another. I know everybody says, well, she got all those rebounds because she missed layups. But when you talk about growing the brand, and now she got a little nasty at the end and has gotten nasty in the WNBA, I think they want her to play the role of Dennis Rodman and being the diva bad girl. But bottom line is that Anissa Morrow, I think LSU fan appreciates her coming over.
And whatever you do, don't say her name wrong.
No. Anissa Morrow is going to make it in the WNBA. I really believe that.
I love her. It's just amazing what she does at 6'1.5" or whatever she is.
Yeah.
Man.
But she won't be playing the 5 in that league.
And then to get her nose hit like that and
tough.
Yeah, tough as nails. Brad David, where would you rank Kelvin Shepard among the best LSU linebackers ever, and how do you think he will do in Detroit as a coordinator? He's ascended quickly in the NFL, hadn't he?
Yeah, he really has. You know, he worked with LSU for a year or two. I forgot exactly what it was, analyst or something. Man, when you start talking about it, we have this discussion about the best ever. You were talking about where does Angel Reese and Anissa Morrow fit. How far do you go back? I mean, do you go back to George Bevan and Mike Anderson and Warren Capone and all those guys in that area? As far as linebackers, you talk about all the guys that have had all the tackles. Kelvin Shepard was a great player, but I don't know if he'd be in the top 10 of all-time linebackers. It just depends on how far you go back.
Yeah, and then yesterday's linebacker, it's a whole new position now.
Absolutely. Hey, I'll tell you this, Brad. I think the big question that we're going to all want to see, and it will be Amanda Spicy Tidbit, what are they going to do?
Where would you put Devin White?
Devin White was really good. But, once again, at what point do you go back? And as you know, now you've got to stop the A-gap, but you got to run in space. But I want to see what Blake Baker does. He's got pressure coming from the edge, but I want to see with Perkins in the star position and with Weeks, I want to see those guys rushing the passer at the same time, still being able to cover. But Brad, I'd say that Shepard's a great linebacker, but I don't know where you'd put him in the all-time.
Chance Babin, did y'all see the bad weather expected in Norman this week? Cold and wet.
Yeah.
Will they be playing baseball at 1:45 in the morning?
It's interesting to see if that coach is going to tinker with the start times. Yeah, have some patience. The game tomorrow night is on ESPN.
Is that the really only gripe we have with Jay? I mean, I don't know if you have it.
Yeah.
But is that the only thing that fans can get after him about here?
Fans get a little upset because he changes
1
the
o'clock
time of
Friday
game.
afternoon games, and is that really the only negative that fans can get after him about? Well,
but he does that to give his team the best chance to win. He's not going to start a pitcher with a cloud and a shower coming in and have him go 2-3 innings, and then he sits for an hour in the rain delay. So he's not going to do that.
My next question is, how many baseball coaches across the country can get away with that without an AD putting their foot down?
Well, when you win a natty, I think he's telling Scott Woodward how the cow eats the cabbage. That's his program, and he's going to have that.
I think Scott Woodward needs directions to Alex Box.
I'm just telling you, Jay is going to have that decision in his hands, because he's going to say, look, you hired me to win, and this gives us the best chance to win. It is frustrating for some fans, especially with the games. And I've never seen one. Jimmy Hawthorne would have gone crazy if that ball game started at 9:35 and did not end until 1:44 in the morning.
That's ridiculous.
4 hours and 9 minutes.
Todd Davis, don't forget about Michael Brooks. I brought him up. Devin White and Quan Alexander.
There's so many great linebackers.
And then Patrick Queen that had the 2019 that he had. I mean, who would have thought that of Patrick Queen, the 2019 he had? Now look at him.
I remember when that kid was being recruited out of Livonia. He was a running back, and still had a great career. See, that's the problem you have, Mike, right there. Do you talk about what they were at LSU only, or do you include what they did at the next level?
Yeah, I kind of do a combo of both.
Yeah,
but you have had multiple linebackers that maybe had middle of the road careers at LSU and were better pros.
Mm-hmm.
All right, here we go.
Drive in style and luxury with a new Genesis from Genesis of Lafayette. Buy a 2023 Genesis G70 3.3T Sport Prestige Executive Demo and pay only $39,870. Buy a new 2025 GV70 and take $2,000 off the MSRP with value owner, competitive owner incentive, plus finance for 2.99% APR for 60 months or 3.99% APR for 72 months. Don't forget to start your shopping online by visiting genesisoflafayette.com.
There you go, folks. And by the way, those Genesis deals, those vary from month to month, but the deals are there to be had. Genesis of Lafayette, there's a reason why they sell more Genesis than any other Genesis dealer in the state of Louisiana. They'll go the extra mile. They'll bring the car to your or SUV to your driveway. And again, go check them out, 6600 Johnson Street, and tell them TigerBait sent you in. Call 877-856-2961. Jaron Guidry's a sales manager. Of course, Blake Mesh, my favorite guy over there as well. Both those guys are top-notch. Blake Salesman of the Year. And tell them TigerBait sent you in. Go test drive that GV70 or the GV80. I'm telling you, once you sit in that interior and get on that car, you're not going to go that vehicle. You're not going to go anywhere else.
Hey, Brad, I quickly Googled all-time leading tacklers with linebackers, and of course, look, we all know about Brady James, Allie Highsmith, Gabe Northern. You know, are you looking inside, outside, Shepard?
Yeah, Brady James, you said.
Albert Richardson had 150 tackles in 81. Lawrence Williams had 144 on the same team. I mean, you can go back and so it's a big list to choose from.
Yeah.
But he's done a fantastic job as a coach. And
I mean, the 80s had their share of good ones. Gabe Northern, early mid-90s, right?
Yeah. But Gabe was an outside guy.
Yeah.
Look, Allie Highsmith, I still remember
it's fun
him.
to think about some of those guys and wonder where they would be today.
Well, look, Brady James and Trev Falk. Now, Trev got cross-haired with Nick, but that was a hell of a pair, Brady James and Trev Falk together.
But where would they line up today?
It's
who would be an edge? Who would be this? You know,
Brady was one of my favorites.
Yeah. Hakeem Batiste, definitely the women I'm speaking of. Bella Hines definitely will be a welcome addition. Yeah, McMahon from Ohio State. Here we go. Mr. SC Bread, LSU women's basketball holding on their one championship season like it's a security blanket. I'm assuming that's a Gamecock fan.
Yeah, I figured it was.
May you lose mightily, my friend.
Well, look, let's give the props. LSU women have had a long stretch of games losing to South Carolina. A couple of years ago when they had the game here in Baton Rouge, that's one of the best women's games I've ever seen. LSU played lights out and then lost a close one. But until they get that stain off their record and beat South Carolina, that is something the Gamecock fans
is that getting to be the equivalent of LSU not beating Alabama in football at home?
Yeah, I think that's equivalent. And
is there a little bit of mental block
but the Gamecock fans are still spicy. You know, they're not happy that Sellers got hurt last year at halftime. They probably would have beat LSU in football. Carolina's had some, and let's be honest, Carolina to them, women's basketball is at the top of the chart.
And how many years has she been there building that? Kim's only been here 4 years.
Right.
Takes time.
Yeah, it does.
And it also takes creating whole new curriculums in your college that don't exist just to get one player.
Well, look, you got to do what you got to do in recruiting. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Nike. Remember, Nike recruited a kid a couple of years ago. You know why they got him at Oregon? Gave him his own shoe. This is what goes on now.
Mm-hmm. There it is. You got to get over to Alumni Hall, everybody. Got the best polos. Peter Millard, Nike, Johnny O, On Reserve. They've got all the stuff that you need to get out to the Alex box and look sharp. Stores just jammed with all new LSU merchandise. The youth jerseys are real big right now for baseball. They've got them in every color. If you want the gold, you want the stripes, you want the traditional gray. I'm a big fan of the gray, the first national title in 91 that Chad Auger and them wore. I always like the grays the best. They've got all those over there at Alumni Hall. And use the code TigerBait, all one word, and you're going to get 10% off your purchase, whether you buy online at alumnihall.com or if you go to the register at Perkins Row. Again, do yourself a favor, get over there. Free shipping on all orders over $99. And they always have the mix and match 2 for $38 LSU champion brand T-shirts. They've got 4 huge tables up front loaded with great designs there. And Alumni Hall is real big in the NIL space, sponsoring LSU players and a part of that. That's why you need to do business with the great folks over at Alumni Hall.
We always interject that it is a fantastic store, big store, plenty to look at. Give yourself 20 to 30 minutes. Traffic always bad. But really, if you're an LSU fan, just a go-to store over at Alumni High. Everybody knows right off Bluebonnet, Perkins Road.
Your thoughts on look, this Brandon comes with a super chat hot. Will Kim bring any height to deal with South Carolina? And I hope Jada plays. and hope Jada stays, I'm sure. I think she absolutely is. We're going to see. I think she's about to have a big haul.
Yeah.
One thing you never hear about is that the women's program doesn't have an NIL budget. There's the NIL stuff that is raised by Bayou Traditions, and then there's the stuff that her and her staff bring in themselves, beating the bushes. And so they're going to be very aggressive. And how many will it end up being? Could it be as many as 5 players?
Sure. We'll see.
Brandon, thanks so much for that super chat. Very much appreciated. What do you expect in Norman this weekend? 2 out of 3?
They are going up against tomorrow night a really good righty. And, that means you're going to see the LSU left-handed lineup. If you win that first game, then all you got to do is split the last 2. 2 out of 3, I'm not ready to say Oklahoma or LSU. If LSU throws the ball over the plate and doesn't get shafted by the umpires, I know I get on this soapbox all the time, but 2-2 pitch on the corner. If it's Jeff Head, he's going to call it a ball. There's about 5 or 6 umpires that leave a lot to be desired with balls and strikes. But I would say, depending on what they do, look, they could get 1 or they could get 2. I don't think either team's going to sweep this weekend.
All right. Jacques Doucet's in the house. He says, looking good, guys. To the Samaya can always come back crowd, I've been told that bridge is burned.
Well, kudos to Jacques.
And he gives the OU 812.
Well, kudos to
big
Jacques.
Van Halen fan.
And let's give
he likes the Hagar years better than the Roth years.
But kudos to Jacques and what he's done with the interaction on his Twitter feed and all of the interviews that he's gotten and making the trips. And look, he's a go-to guy. And of course, they're all worn out at this time. March is really tough on them, on all of them. So hope that they all get a little bit of rest because we'll kick it up a notch. And everybody's going to expect Omaha. Everybody's going to expect Fort Worth with gymnastics. And, of course, you'll get a little taste of what we've been looking at football practice. They've been off, as everybody knows, and we'll be back out there next Tuesday, Thursday. Open scrimmage on that Saturday on the 11th. And once again, in case you missed it, 10:30 start. I like that a lot. So we'll see. But you're not going to show a lot in that open scrimmage.
That OU 812 album that Jacques loves so much. If Diver Down is the Phantom Menace of Van Halen albums, OU 812 would be Attack of the Clones.
And look, Jacques can sing a little bit now. He's a karaoke.
I missed him singing one night. I left his Red Rock and Blue early one night, and he had gotten up there.
Okay.
But there's video of it.
Kudos to JD and all of the people who provide just an incredible, insatiable appetite for LSU. And let's not forget about the high school, the Southern, the Saints, and all that. People in the media, folks, the sports business, you're working all the time.
And
you got to have
counterpart Eads grinding too. They got 2 grinders over there.
John's done a fantastic job from Michigan.
You're talking about 1:45 in the morning. Guess who's still there filming the post game?
Him and Koki.
Yeah. Chance Bab, before baseball started, I asked y'all why no questions. Texas A&M having a first-year coach, yet be consensus number 1. Well, he might be one and done. Isn't that something?
Well, Mike has Kendall Rogers on, and I always tease him and ask him about, under your breath, say, how's the Aggies doing this week? And, of course, they're having a rough season. And I always thought that was a little conspicuous, them getting preseason number 1. But we all know rankings at the beginning of the year don't mean much. Look, SEC is locked in with 6 or 7 top 10 teams. There'll probably be 4 out of the 8 teams in Omaha. So it's just about staying healthy and getting hot at the right time.
Jacques says, thanks, buddy. Appreciate you. Yes. Let's see what we got. All those LSU and basketball SEC 1 and 2 team couldn't produce no SEC tournament championship. Man, what are you doing in an LSU chat when you got a Final Four this weekend?
That's Carolina guy again?
Yeah.
Well, I'm look.
Yeah, let's move
you remember the Notre Dame people that were all over us in football, and all of them saying that old man needs to what'd they say? I need to go put getting the old folks home. because I was tearing Notre Dame's ass up. Marcus Freeman has done a good job, but let's just wait and see what they have moving forward. You're losing Den Brock. You're losing a lot of players. See, that's the tough part about college athletics right now. Will Wade actually said it before he ever left here. He said, you don't have a program anymore. You have a team, because every year there are so many decisions that will get made. And now, even 5 years later, when he said that, it's even gotten worse. And so I think the cat and the horses and everybody got left out. The barn get opened up and boom, they're gone. Not making a kid, whether it be a woman or a man, responsible, have repercussions. Now that you can go anywhere at any time, this is crazy. And at least the NFL has free agency where they keep up with the money. We know revenue sharing is coming here later on in the month of July, so we'll see if that calms it. But it's the wild, wild west out there in every sport, and you just have to adjust and adapt.
All right. One more before we get out of here. Capital City Grill, great brunch. Y'all go over there Sunday. Truly one of the best brunches in South Louisiana. And Eggs Benedict, the chicken and waffles is the best in town. Believe me, I've had them all. I swear it's off the chain. And get the carrot cake to go. And, of course, they're located at 100 Lafayette Street. And your great weekday lunch spot as well. Great burgers, club sandwiches, hamburgers, almost everything on the menu is priced at $30 or below. So head over to Capital City Grill at 100 Lafayette Street, downtown Baton Rouge. Or you can go to capitalcitygrill.net, check out their menu online, and you'll see what I'm talking about. I'm only listing a portion of everything that they offer there at Capital City Grill. Anything you want to add on the way out, buddy?
Outdoor seating is fantastic. Bar is fantastic. And, oh, by the way, just a little the spicy tidbit on the way out of here. You know, we've had availability for football practice, and the last time we were out there, we finally see number 4, Nick Anderson, look like he's not being gimpy. LSU is so loaded at wide receivers. We're talking 7, 8, 9. We hadn't even got to the true freshman that's coming in from the state of Louisiana. We'll talk about him next week. But back to the offensive line and the defensive line, I ask you this question every year. Does Jake Flint have them physical enough to play physical football instead of finesse football? Going to be an interesting.
Are they strong and powerful enough? Is there a chance they absolutely are, but they're being taught finesse techniques on that offensive line?
No. If you got somebody that can throw somebody like a
step back, move this way.
Well, you got Atkins coming in to help on the offensive line.
Take one step back. Don't just run block.
Yeah. Well, play calling inside the red zone and making those decisions, whether to kick a field goal or go for it and all of that, we got plenty of time.
I think the defensive line is going to be.
But you're going to be able to drink at Clemson, and I can't wait to see that interaction with the purple and gold and the orange and purple. You know, they like a little orange in their purple.
Well, they have PTSD from 2019.
Yeah, no doubt.
All right, everybody, please hit that like button on the way out. If you hadn't subscribed, subscribe button, notification bell when every time we go live or post interviews, press conferences, etc. We got a lot on this channel. As you can see, we just hit 36,000 subscribers. We're on our way to 37,000 after a week after hitting. It's been an incredible month of growth here on our YouTube channel, which is now the biggest LSU YouTube channel in Louisiana. And it's been that way for a while, thanks to you all. But we'll be back here next week with another show, practice reports, and a lot more. And go to TigerBait.com for all your LSU news. Good night, everybody.